Okay, part 3 of the lecture is now recording. Okay, so, how much, I mean, for anyone that's still there, I mean, how much have you guys played with lights? We did it, I know we did, like, did the first little bit. Uh, Last week or the week before. 'Cause I just want to talk about kind of different the different kinds of lights again, but also the fact that remember how shadows work, because like we were kind of talking about, the creation of contrast and the interest is about what like shadow like well essentially what object is blocking the shadow. I mean, that is really all we need to understand. Okay, so we need to be able to model things that essentially mimic or that create the exact shape that is going to um, create again the shape even of the shadow that we want. Okay, and in this case I will actually introduce you to some of the atmospherics in Maya. Now, all you need to know is the fact that this is specifically for Maya and doing a Maya render. What's going to happen is based on whatever you're using. So when we kind of understand Unreal, it'll be slightly different, and Sketchfab doesn't have atmospherics at all. So I just want to kind of create a few God rays here um, and kind of have a look at what this is going to actually look like when we have individual or different lighting. So just a recap. The most important thing, or we've got an external scene here. This is, of course, just one element of what would be a bigger environment. We've got first our directional light. Okay, so our directional light. Let's get rid of that. Our directional light is essentially our sun. Okay, so the directional light again is going to be. You're going to have the same light in Maya as you will in Sketchfab, as you will in Unreal as well. And if we turn on our lights and our shadows, we can actually see what is going to be the kind of preview of that. Okay, so what I want to create is, see, I've got the directional light here. I'm going to make it a little bit kind of yellowish. Let's give it a little bit of a nice kind of yellowy glow. Okay, yep, what you need to understand, Ada, is that there is something called a directional light. So you can figure out how to create a directional light in the program you're using. You just need to understand the concept of what a directional light is. It is a light that has just a direction. Okay, so I just want you to understand conceptually. Like, don't get locked into yes, in Maya we've just got a directional light in Maya. This is literally in Maya. So I'm just, don't get locked into like press this button. Okay, this is a directional light, and I have it in Maya, but there are directional lights. Like a light, you just need to find the light that does what a directional light does. Vast majority of the time, they're called directional lights. Okay, they're just as a concept. This directional light is something that um is something that goes across 3D packages. Okay, yeah, need to. Anyway, so directional light, cool. Look, we've got sun. We've got those long shadows. I've got also what my main other kind of light I'm going to be using, my point light. And so we've got our light out here, but can you remember when I was looking at the game? I was looking at something, and I not only was it lit from the outside, let's actually change this. So I'm going to put my intensity down on my outside light, and I'm going to make it that kind of bluish color. And if you notice, I'm kind of making this a bit abstract here, like just this element. And then look, if I add a light inside, look at the way that this light inside actually gives me that glow internally to an actual building. So if I make this go like make it more kind of orange. And then I turn down the intensity, maybe play with the decay rate. You can see here, oh, now I need the intensity way up again. If you change the decay, there we go, that's better. See that that's starting to be fairly realistic. And you can look at that now. I've got some light coming from my directional light, but it's kind of this bluish color that's still creating these kind of soft or these kind of interesting shadows, or again this color on the outside. But you can also see I've got this light emanating using the geometry that I have here to create these new shapes. Okay, so always be thinking about in your environments how each one of these, how all these shadows interact with each other. Now, what you might actually see is you might see that the shadows from what is kind of my moon here, you can kind of see that they're still very, very, like, look how they're not very soft. I want them to be much, much, much softer. Like, imagine, because it looks like they're kind of really strongly kind of really, really strongly, like, again, it's like, looks like it's middle of the day kind of harshness of shadow. What? What? No, you add each. What this? It's not vague. What all you do is you add a light, you position it, and it lights the scene. So add a directional light. Yeah, in everything we'll have lighting. I don't understand. Yeah, as many as you want, of course. However you want to light the scene. I've got multiple lights in here. Yeah, of course. That's all. The whole thing about me talking about the game. Remember, I was saying lots of lights for different positions. That's why we looked at that. All of that stuff. I fixed whatever your design is. So, what do you mean by fixed? There's no animation. Things aren't moving. Why would they not be fixed? My lighting is now fixed. Yes, here fixed. Whatever direction you choose. And then any other lights here, I mean, because remember, you're only giving me one thing, so it's going to have the lights a certain way. Okay, anyway, so so you can see, so I've got my point light here. Oh, I was talking about shadows. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so your shadows, based on what the kind of light is actually being created and what kind of object they're hitting, they're going to be either softer or harsher. Here you can kind of see the way they are. If I do a render right now, click run. Okay, you can see that I've still got that same thing. It's not looking great because I don't have, textures and all that kind of stuff, but that's fine. I'm just looking at the lighting right now. I've still got that glow in there. I've still got the external kind of blue color. But again, my shadows are too sharp. Okay, and it's probably nighttime. I probably wouldn't exaggerate kind of leaves in the nighttime, but I'm just kind of looking at this as a specific example. So if I grab my light, and again, this goes across anything that you're using a light in, you'll be able to change the way that the shadows actually look. So you'll find the attributes for your shadows. In this case, in Maya, I'm just going to change what is the light angle here. And that is actually going to change. Okay, no, light angle is not. Why isn't this? It should be softening up the shadows. Let's actually use instead. Let's go depth map shadows here. Let's go. We can actually change the filter size. Let's try to. There we go. So you can see I can actually literally. Do you notice on my scene here? Yeah. What's up, Bo? Yep, Bo. You put your hand up. No. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so you can actually change like how much blur there is going to be applied when we actually render these shadows. And when it's just more, what you need to do is you need to think about the shape. Come on, just come on, shadows. You need to think about the shape that the shadows are going to create, or the light of the shadows of the lights that we're going to have. Okay, so let's just actually let's go back to ray trace shadows. But yeah, was that? It's because of, oh yeah, let's not worry about that then. Okay. Okay, sweet. But the main thing I want you to think about, and so if you don't, so if you're thinking about something, so if I add a couple more point lights here, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm thinking about each individual place that I need lit in my scene, and I'm adding for every point, every place that requires light, I'm actually creating a light for it. So I think maybe, is that what you mean, Ada? Like, they're fixed. Yes, they are. They are fixed. Like, if you've got things in your scene that create light, create a light for them. Okay. So, and each one of those lights is going to interact with the scene in a way, creating more and different shadows. So you see, if I bring this light over here, you see how the moon isn't actually coming back here and hitting this, but I can actually light it if, say, I had a model that was kind of a sconce, you know, some kind of flame. Everything is going to be, everything that you need to be a light is going to be a light. Okay, let's make it, for whatever reason, like kind of lighthouse up here, kind of make a glow at the top. Let's just turn off our lights here. And you can see that I can add like really nice little tiny details just with lighting. Okay. Oops, I just clicked that the wrong way. Yeah, so just with lighting, which is what I want you to play with. Right. And so that's 100% part of your design as well. What is actually on how everything is going to be lit, what all the shadows do when they interact, what those models, what happens to models when the light actually hits them. Okay. And that becomes the some of the really important parts of your environment. Okay. So I think it's going to be actually pretty cool. So yours is going to be really interesting, Ada, because you're going to have lots of kind of bricks and things interacting with each other in doorways, and what you probably want to do is have things like windows being open, and you don't need to see all the detail inside. Just have like glows coming inside the Yes, create Maya is where you're doing, yes, 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 yes. If you've noticed, haven't you noticed that in Sketchfab, um if you export, like, you actually get the lights, they come in Sketchfab. And Unreal, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, let's actually do this. Let's actually go, yeah, I'm just gonna select everything. I'm gonna delete a few things here. Let's now actually, just as an example, so you've got it down, an example of getting everything across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything here, and I'm going to just group them all. Actually, I have one group for lights and one just to make it easy for me. Group lights, so one, and this is just going to be geometry. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to save this first, and this is going to be little whatever scene. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to go up File and go back to my game exporter. It's what we did last week. I'll grab my game exporter, and I'm going to export to Unreal. So what I'm just going to make sure I've got everything that I need selected, and everything's going to be fine. Okay, so essentially our settings are going to be perfectly fine here. FBX is fine as well. We don't need any animation. It should bring across our lights as well. And if it doesn't, what we do is I'll show you as well that the direction that lights are in Unreal 2. So I'm just going to go, yeah, let's go Unreal, little test. Okay, well, that's some really quality spelling I've got there. Okay, and it's going to be Unreal test. Export. Okay, export successful. So now I'm going to open up Unreal. But what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to just open up my my Sketchfab exporter as well. So Sketchfab from Maya, which is the exporter that we've gone through downloading. It's going to load up. Eventually. Come on. It's also just this. Oh, I'm doing two things at once here. There we go. Okay, so little. Why is my typing bad today? Little beacon or whatever. Okay, let's just upload Sketchfab. So that's uploading some unsupportable materials. That's okay. It'll just put basic materials, but the lights will come through, which is the important thing. So let's go to Sketchfab while it's doing that. I'm doing two things at once here. And Unreal is loading. Sketchfab. Little beacon. Loading. In this case, I'm just going to create a new third-person game. Doesn't matter what it is. Sketchfab is just loading. So Unreal is just loading. And also I'm already uploading the videos as well for the different parts of today's lecture. So they'll be on YouTube. Okay, cool. So what you can see is on Sketchfab, let's go to lighting. So I've actually, do you see how I literally have in Sketchfab my lights? I can, if I wanted to be fancy, I can move them in Sketchfab as well. You see how my lights that I had in Maya have been brought straight across. Do you see that, Ada? The lights have actually come in from Maya Sketchfab that I can change here. I can even change the shadow biases and stuff. So just yeah, I think my computer is finally dying with all the jeez, it's going completely insane now. It's gone darker than anyone else's. Going dark. And Unreal is not loading. Everything, it's so dark. On. I think it might have given up the ghost. But the thing is, using that game exporter, remember how we did that last week? It should bring them across, and if it doesn't, then you've actually got that ability to create those lights in Unreal as well. But I haven't gone through exactly how to make your little interactive thing. Just focus on the model in Maya now, okay? Because what I'll actually do is make I'll record a proper length, probably half an hour tutorial on Maya to Unreal that I'll get you over the next week. And I won't show you. This is my. Oh God. Close, these. Things gone super dark on my screen and I don't understand why. Anyway, let's see if we can actually make this work. By import, find that FBX. Unreal test, FBX. So it's going to actually import everything, but it's just going to bring the mesh in for now. So we'll just go import. And you can see that it's all it's going to do is bring in these and what are these meshes. Get our scale right. So I'm just going to times it up by some factor of it's just going to lag. Delete everything else. Okay, so what I need to do now, actually, yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go too far into it, but Ada, here you go. So your lights here, and this is, they're slightly, well, they're not different because look, directional light, point light. So it'll take you 2 seconds to recreate them. The issue is the fact that it's a different engine. So but again, focus on Maya once you've got it in Maya, and then we'll go through actually exporting it properly. Okay. Riley, that's probably going to be because you've actually got Arnold settings. Like Arnold, you need to make sure that your object is actually not opaque. And also, it's actually transmission that you're looking at there. Like it's a transmissive surface. So yeah, you'll need to look into transmission. And opacity, essentially. Transmission and opacity. Oh, thank you. Oof. You to go, burr. Yeah, that's in the shape. So it's actually in the shape node of the object that you're trying to make opaque or not. You need for Arnold specifically, you need to make sure that opaque is unchecked. But again, it's a little bit finicky. Yeah, 100%. Don't worry, that's a really tough one to find. It's all over the place. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. Okay. Okay. But anyways, that's today was a bit all over the place, but that's how. So essentially, what I want you to do is keep working, light your scenes, look at your shadows, bring life to your scenes by adding individual, interesting little details, by playing with all the colors, and yeah, I mean, keep going. Okay. But yeah, that's where I want to leave us today. Okay. Has anyone made it? Today seems like a little bit of a downer day. I don't know why. Downer. But I mean more like everyone's kind of in their own space, which is fine. And also, how did the Discord Yeah, it's pouring. It's pouring down here in Sydney too. Did all the streaming actually work? Like, because I know we tried a few weeks ago, but like, did it actually work? And was it? Because I only know from your side. I mean, I don't know from your side. So much better. Okay. Okay, good. Jared's Jared with the flex. Jared with the flex. um. Oh, you were watching all. You were watching all of them at the same time. That's That's just, that's not even flex. That's just unnecessary. So what's going to happen, guys, is because I've also recorded these in OBS, so they should be 1080p. So if you're actually still watching my stream, um, there we go. So that should actually work. So I actually have these lessons. So it's full 1080 should be, and the audio is working. Yay! So everything actually worked. Anyway, so that'll be up on YouTube today. Okay. All and including this part. So there will be 3 parts. First bit, which is the game bit. Second bit, which is end cloth and like those leaves. Third bit, which is kind of yeah, well, it wasn't great, but I mean, third bit we're in right now, which is kind of a bit more about lighting and stuff. Okay.